Yes guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name is FPL Nacho and I'm delighted to be back this season and kicking it all off with my current team reveal. I've made a lot of changes since the game kicked off, but I'm really happy with how this team is settled right now. So you're going to want to make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 40k subscribers before game week 1. It'd be awesome if we can have you on board. We have so much coming this season. So without further ado, let's get into this game week 1 team reveal. So of course we are in pre-season right now and a lot of things can change, but right now I am really happy with how the team is looking. I think there's some really well-priced assets out there and it's just all about just making them small tweaks to your team to try and enable all of these fantastic options. And hopefully with some of the pre-season games, we'll get a bit more information on the players that are going to be explosive and really undervalued this year. Those are the ones that you want to target. So kicking things all off in goal is going to be Aaron Ramsdale. Now, I still understand the idea of going with a 4.5 million goalkeeper. I really like the likes of Leno, Pickford if you want to go down that route. But currently, I have got Ramsdale in my team. Obviously, targeting those fixtures are one thing. Forest at home in the first fixture, and they have a brilliant run. I believe up until game weeks 5 or 6, they're right up there with some of the best fixtures. And you want a bit of investment in that defensive coverage, whether it be Ramsdale or a 5 million defender in the likes of Zinchenko or Gabriel. But right now, I have opted for the Ramsdale pick in goal. I think he's a good option. Yes, Arsenal were a little bit kind of leaky at home last season, but I'm expecting that to return to normal going into this year, especially with the additions that they made to the likes of Declan Rice and their new man Timber in the back line. So I think Ramsdale was a good option. He's decent for save points. He isn't an Edison where he isn't going to touch the ball. And also he can be okay on the bonus points as well. And that's what we're looking for in the goalkeeper department. So right now I'm settled on Ramsdale. I like the 5 million goalkeeper area. Moving into the defence. And these three here haven't changed from my drafts. But we have one player here that definitely is what I would call a risk. So first and foremost is cover off Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know a lot of managers right now are split down the middle. They either are going for Trent or they are really against him because of that 8 million price point. So my thoughts right now are, I think it is quite expensive for him just because the rest of the game is so cheap from a value perspective. So I think we all know Trent should be 8, but in reference to the other defenders, he feels very, very extortionate. So the fixtures for Liverpool are quite good. I wouldn't say they're the best, but I think they are quite good. And the reason why I think Trent should be in our drafts is because he is so much more considerably expensive than the next most expensive in the likes of Trippier. So in order to go without Trent, you would then have to basically go for a Trippier at 6.5 or a 5.5 million defender. And then if you were in a situation where Trent was just to really go big, he definitely can do that. Then you're going to have to either have funds in the bank to go up to Trent, or you're going to have to make multiple transfers to move your team sideways to enable the Trent transfer. For me, I'd rather start with him, get an understanding whether he is FPL value, and then I can downgrade from him maybe to another Liverpool defender or cheaper options in the game. I just think it is safer to start with him than without him. Now, moving into a player that has been in every single one of my drafts is going to be Luke Shaw. Now, at 5.5, I think actually having an investment in that price point is absolutely essential. You've got Luke Shaw, James, John Stones, to name a few in that area. And I think just having ownership in that department is going to be key from a team structure perspective. Yes, Man United's fixtures are mixed, I would say, but I think Luke Shaw's minutes are absolutely secure. Really importantly, he's good on the baseline. He's decent for actually attacker returns, and I think Man United are a little bit underrated from a clean sheet perspective. So I think he ticks all the boxes, and I think he's the safe pick for the opening game weeks in that Man United defence. I think the son of Onana is only going to improve the defence as well. But the risky one that I do have in my team, and I know a lot of FPL managers are probably thinking that is a bit dodgy, is going to be Reece James. I think both Reece James and Chilwell are really, really good high ceiling FPL picks. But I understand that there is a risk when going for these because first and foremost, we don't have a clue what Chelsea are going to be like this year. And secondly, Reece James is made of glass. So he might only make one fixture and then he might have to be sold. But at the time of recording right now, I like the look of Reece James at 5.5 million. And the same can be said for Chilwell. With those fantastic fixtures, they have Luton, they have the likes of Crystal Palace in opening game weeks. I really think targeting a Chelsea defender is going to be the way a lot of FPL managers go come game week 3. And I just want to get a little bit ahead of the curve in the hope that Reece James does return to that marauding fullback that we've seen in previous seasons. And under Pochettino, what he's done with the likes of Walker Rose, I think there is a fantastic opportunity that could happen again with Reece James. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is James in your current draft? So moving into the midfielders, this is where it starts to get exciting, of course. I think they have really priced the midfielders quite cheap, personally. And I think, therefore, having a lot of investment in a certain price band is going to be very important. So first and foremost, we need to address the elephant in the room. I do not have Mo Salah in my current draft. A lot of FPL managers that I spoke to said, how can you not have Mo Salah? He is such a good asset, and I absolutely agree with you. But trying to squeeze in Mo Salah into this team this year is very, very difficult. And if you do bring him into your team alongside a Trent and alongside a Haaland, then you really do have to make sacrifices elsewhere. And the reason why I don't want to make a sacrifice in the midfield is because the midfielders between the 8 to 9 million price bracket, I feel, are going to be the value picks of the game. Kicking off first and foremost with Bruno Fernandes at 8.5 million. Now, his Man United compatriot Rashford is at 9 million. And I do think Rashford is a better FPL option at 9 million. He is a better goal threat. His minutes are guaranteed. And the one thing I would say is we don't know who's going to be on penalties yet, which could sway our pick either to Rashford's favour or Bruno Fernandes. It's worth noting if Fernandes is on penalties, I think Fernandes is the better FPL option and definitely the value pick at 8.5 million. But right now, I think either having Rashford or Fernandes is pretty essential in your teams at game week 1 and beyond. And the reason why I go Fernandes is just because of the value perspective. The reason for that, Saka, I do feel like is essential in your FPL teams. Now, I know a lot of FPL managers have gone for Odegaard, gone for Martinelli, and I definitely understand that. But Saka, for me, is the golden boy in this team. 8.5 million just feels wrong to have him. He is so cheap for what he actually should be. He's on penalties. The fixtures are unbelievable, kicking off for that home game against Nottingham Forest. And it's worth noting that Saka's underlying numbers actually are, if not worse than the likes of Odegaard and Martinelli. But for me, I just think Saka is such a guaranteed minutes pick in this Arsenal team. We could see a situation where Odegaard gets slightly rotated with the introduction of Havertz. Smith Rowe might come back into the team. And also we have to remember Trossard being signed in January means that Martinelli could get rotated at time to time. And the reason why I do like Saka in comparison to Martinelli is because if Martinelli was to go big in the opening game weeks, we could simply downgrade Saka from that 8.5 million price band to Martinelli's cheaper price. If you were to start with Martinelli and Saka was the one that we should have gotten on, again, it's going to be difficult for you to then upgrade Martinelli to Saka unless you have them funds in the bank. So I think either a Man United and an Arsenal midfielder is essential for our FPL drafts, and I've opted for the Bruno and Saka combination. Now, the one that I'm really excited about, and I know a lot of FPL managers out there are, is the thought of Phil Foden being an FPL option finally in the game. He's had purple patches, 6 or 7 game weeks where managers have jumped on. He's done well. Some have been scarred by him. But then he's filtered out of the team, or he just hasn't had the attacker returns that we have expected. Now, right now, the time of recording, it's expected that De Bruyne could be at risk of missing the opening game weeks due to an injury. And that does mean that Foden being introduced into the Man City team feels like an inevitable move. Him being in that high 8 position, maybe alongside a Kovacic, feels like an opportunity for Phil Foden to finally get that guaranteed game time and those attacker returns that a 7.5 million price bracket deserves. I think he's the most underpriced player in the game. I've said it, I've put it out there. But I think this guy could be better than Saka, better than Bruno Fernandes if he is to get that guaranteed game time in the team and hit those heights that we were expecting he would do last season. He had those moments, 7.5 million, those opening fixtures. I want investment outside of Haaland, and Foden is my man right now. Now, moving to the cheaper options, Mbeumo at 6.5 million has really picked up a lot of pace in the FPL community right now because we know Tony is banned for 8 months, meaning Mbeumo is naturally going to be stepping up as the chief attacker in that team. Now, of course, we're not expecting Mbeumo just to basically play as a 9. I actually think that affects him and makes him a worse FPL option of the team. We're expecting Vissa to play down the middle or a new sign-in, and Mbeumo to play off the right of a front 3 or alongside the forward. Either way, a 6.5 million as a forward, but registered as a midfielder in FPL, I think that is just a recipe for returns in FPL. But again, I want to monitor him closely in pre-season. I don't think he's essential by any means because we have the likes of Matoma, Eze, all at the same price point, who we easily could go sideways to if we want to come game week 1. But I think Abuemo right now offers the highest FPL potential and that ceiling, and we always want to bring those FPL assets into our team. And last up, the one that I'm a little bit about is Brighton's Enciso at 5.5 million. Again, this guy could be like Phil Foden, ridiculously underpriced, play the majority of games, and we've seen that he is a fantastic player and he can actually score goals, which is what we're looking for. Now, of course, the sale of McAllister and the impending sale of Caicedo means that the Brighton midfield is a little bit unknown right now. We're probably expecting Mitoma to play off the left, March off the right as before. Ferguson and maybe João Pedro down the middle, but Enciso has had so much game time in this Brighton team at the back end of the season. He is so versatile that we could see him just take minutes off each and every player in that front three. Now, I need to see a big preseason from Enciso to justify putting him in the team. But at 5.5, I think he could make a mockery of that price point. And I do want to have him in the early drafts just to see whether he could be that cheap enabler for us to own those big midfielders in our team. But let me know your thoughts on Enciso in the chat. I'm currently on him, but he could easily become a cheaper price or go up to another 6.5 like an Eze in the team. Moving into the forwards, and we simply don't need to discuss one of these players in Erling Haaland. He's coming at 14 million. And because of the rest of the game being so cheap in value, it's easy to fit Erling Haaland into our teams. If they were to put Bruno, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard at 10 million as a midfielder, then we might have actually had a deliberation to make it. Some might have gone for Harry Kane at 12.5 million, but Harry Kane at 12.5, I simply cannot justify not going for Haaland at that price point. The fixtures are fantastic to hit the season. He's currently 85% owned in the game, so a lot of the game have basically said, yep, I'm going for Haaland. And I don't think it is worth the risk going without him in the early stages. I don't think we need to say any more on that in terms of our Haaland. The real deliberation right now for FPL managers is what to do with that second forward position. So a lot of FPL managers who have gone for the 8 million in either Jesus, Watkins, that kind of range, or they've gone down to a 6.5 in Ferguson at Brighton as another example, or they have gone completely down to a 4.5 in the likes of Archer or Balogun and hope that they do get their move to another Premier League team, which then enables you to have funds elsewhere to invest in the team. So I really hope that those 4.5s do get their moves, but for now, I've gone for Gabriel Jesus. Now, the reason being is the Arsenal fixtures are ridiculous to kick off the season. They are so good that I think you need double Arsenal investment to start the season. And in particular, Jesus, I do feel, is getting a little bit underappreciated in the FPL community. He had such a fantastic start to the season, and I think he actually had a really good finish to the season from an underlying stats perspective. Everything was funneled through him. He was such an important part of that team. And although he did have that injury, and although they have signed new people in the likes of Havertz who could impact them negatively, I think Jesus is an amazing option for our FPL teams. 8 million feels like a steal to be the number one man in that Arsenal team. And I think I'm going to start the season with him alongside Saka, the two talisman, I believe, in their eyes from an attacking perspective and minutes perspective. I think he's locked alongside Haaland, but let me know your thoughts. I understand Watkins, I understand Callum Wilson, but having a forward in a top 2 or 3 side in the league at 8 million just feels wrong to ignore. So let me know. Now, last up, I need to show you the bench, and this one definitely is up for debate. I currently have Travers in goal at 4 million. But basically, the only reason there is because there isn't any starting 4 million goalkeeper right now in the game in my eyes. The one that a lot of FPL managers have gone for is West Ham's Areola at 4 million. But his ownership is quite high right now, and we still don't know whether he is going to be an actual starter. We could see potential sales, but I doubt it for 4 million, which could drop his price. But realistically, we don't think there are any goalkeepers right now that are going to start. So I've just opted for Travers right now, but that could change. Moving into defence, I of course have got for the 4.5 million and the 4 million defensive options. Currently I've got Botman, but he is the highest priced defender, highest owned defender at 4.5 right now. And we know that means that he is susceptible to a price fall if managers were to move away from him. So that's the one caveat I want to say about Botman. It's fantastic we can get ownership into a Newcastle defender at 4.5, but just be cautious. If they start bad and people sell him, you might soon have a 4.4 or a 4.3 million defender. I'm going to keep my eyes open for that one. Otherwise, I like the new signing of Pau Torres at Aston Villa. Could be a rotation risk though. Or other options of the game are available to us, which I will touch on in future videos. Bell at Luton just feels like the easy 4 million defender, but Baldock at Sheffield United is also a consideration. And Adebayo at 5 million is just currently the team because I had the funds available. That likely will be a 4.5 million forward. Hopefully the likes of Balogun or Archer get their move in the Premier League, which means that I could just simply downgrade that to there and free up 0.5 million in my team. Okay guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. I really hope that it has provided some value to you, and let me know your thoughts on my draft in the comment section, and importantly let me know how your drafts are currently looking, and we will get them rated in the comments. I have to say, you need to check out the Fantasy Football Fix Elite Manager section, first link in the bio. We have got some of the best FPL managers ever. Their ranks are ridiculous, trust me, and they have revealed their teams, first link in the bio. I have been checking them out religiously and trying to tweak my team to make sure they are very similar to theirs. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Make sure you do check that out, and make sure you do like the video and smash that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 40k subscribers. It'd be amazing to have you along the journey. So that just leaves us to say have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Cheers.